what's up, Game Time fans? How are you doing? I'm excited to be back again, talking some NFL stuff. It's our second week in a row back with the show after a little bit of a hiatus, and I got a heck of a crew joining us today to talk about NFL over the next 90 minutes. First off, Winston A. Marshall.
Fucker, sack Justin Herbert in his own house. They're like, like the fact that when they would score, three dudes in the section would be like, hell yeah. Three dudes. Everyone else, when the Cowboys score, Damn. Oh my God.
Cowboys travel, that's for sure. Another Cowboys fan joining us. Ben Goddard, how are you, Ben?
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, and you're lucky your boys won too, Rocha. Otherwise, this would be a long 90 minutes for you. But you guys, that was the last game I caught up on today. Was that Giants Washington game? That was a great game too.
Yeah, nice back and forth. I got a feeling it's going to be the Eagles, and it's going to be the Cowboys and the Washington football team vying for the top of the NFC East. I didn't see much from the Eagles, and I think the Giants are just a train wreck waiting to happen. And somehow we squeaked that game out at home. But that Tyler Heineke kid, we're going to talk about that Taylor Heineke kid and see if he's for real or not, or if he's a Gardner Minshew. I don't know, but I'm excited just to roll with him. And Fitzy, you take your time resting and rehabbing. We're in no rush to get you back. We're in no rush to let the kid play.
I was gonna say, like, either you get the Fitz magic for 6 weeks and then he falls apart, or you get the Taylor Heineke. Let's see what Taylor's got. If you get a good 6 weeks, that might win the NFC East. Who knows?
You never know. I told Ellis the kid's got moxie, and that's what I like about him.
He does.
Moxie.
His team's behind him too. His team loves him. It seems like. Seems like the guys are really behind him. So I think you guys at least got a 2 or 3 year quarterback. He could be the franchise, but at least a 2 or 3 year holdover.
Yeah, and they only paid him like $2.5 million. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's chump change for a guy like that. Oscar Romo says, my Chargers were robbed. Jerry paid the refs. Oh, come on. No.
If Jerry could pay the refs, we would have beaten the Bucs last week too. If Jerry paying the refs,
true.
Come on.
That's true.
If he's ever going to pay the refs, it's going to be against the Super Bowl champs, not the San Diego, formerly known as Chargers.
That's true. Well, as we go along, ladies and gentlemen, please remember the Streamlabs and Super Chats are important. You see the Streamlabs address right there above our heads at the top of the screen. It's also pinned in the chat, and it's in the description of this video. Send along some support here to let everybody know that you're happy Game Time is back. We're going to go through all the games here and talk about them, get into a little NBA towards the tail end of the show. But let's jump into it first. Let's start off with that Chiefs-Ravens game. Holy Mary, Mother of God. You know, the last few years, it feels like we've gotten these kinds of games early on in the season that have been so exciting to get you back into the world of NFL. Remember that Rams-Chiefs game from a couple of years ago? It was incredible on Monday night. That was a fantastic game. So to see another one like this between the Chiefs and the Ravens was a lot of fun. Lamar Jackson rushed for 107 yards, scored twice, including flipping into the end zone, which you'll see on the thumbnail of this particular video for the winning score. And they defeated them 36-35. Twice they came back from 11-point fourth quarter deficits on the Chiefs here and got the job done. It's the first time that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have beaten the Chiefs since Lamar Jackson has become the starting quarterback for the Ravens. So he also led the Ravens in rushing with 251 yards rushing, through for 239 yards. And Kansas City allowed 481 yards on offense, which is insane. I mean, that just tells you right there that you've got some problems with your defense. And Jackson had his 9th career 100-yard rushing game, which ties him with Michael Vick already for the most by a quarterback already. Jeez. So this is insane to think about. Ben, let's go to you first on this one. What's your feeling coming out of this game? Is that the Chiefs kind of took the gas off the pedal and there's problems here, or the Ravens got the job done and you feel like this is something that could catapult them to maybe feel like they could be making a run to the Super Bowl here this season?
This might be the catalyst, because the Ravens have been the bridesmaid the last few years only because of Patrick Mahomes. Like, I know Brady beat Mahomes and he was like, hey, it's like when Tim Duncan beat LeBron, he was like, this is going to be your league, but thanks for let me have one more. And then if it wasn't for the worst offensive line in the history of Super Bowls, maybe Patrick Mahomes' poor self would have had a chance in that Super Bowl. True. Even then, he was still running for his life and horizontally hitting guys in the head, and they were dropping the ball. Yeah. So the kid is crazy talented. But, Lamar Jackson's always been that 1A quarterback in the AFC, but he finally broke through. And granted, it was the Chiefs running back fumble that eventually ended the game, but still, like in a game like this, and it wasn't, the Rams Chiefs game where there was no defense, and what was it, like 55-50 that game? That
Yeah,
it was like
it was insane.
how many? It was an insane game. It was like the 7v7 flag football game, basically.
Yeah.
But no, it was some defensive stops, just enough. One turnover cost in the whole game. But this could be it. Granted, it's week 2.
Yeah.
So you'd like to have this victory in like week 10 or 11. But still, they finally beat them. They finally beat the Chiefs, who were like, the guaranteed shoe-in favorite for the Super Bowl. So I hope we get this rematch in, December, January. But we'll see.
Yeah. Winston, Ben says, you want to get this victory later on in the year? Get it in the playoffs. That's where you really want to get this victory for sure. But I mean, Lamar Jackson threw 2 fourth-quarter interceptions. He had lost a fumble. So this wasn't, and they missed 2 2-point conversions. So this wasn't like this was a hard, back and forth. There were some mistakes here by the Ravens that the Chiefs couldn't 100% capitalize on to really get way ahead. So what do you take away from this game about both of these teams?
My biggest takeaway is that it's early. My immediate takeaway when this ended was fuck Lamar Jackson, because even though I have him in one fantasy league, the one where I have money on it, I was holding on to a narrow lead. I ended up losing by about 5 points because of Lamar Jackson and those last minute antics to win that game. So I ended up being the whole day, like I was already in a mood, and I was like, all right, we just gotta hold on. Whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, this asshole goes off. But I think it just goes back to form of there was a little bit of a slump from Lamar last year. He was still good, but he wasn't MVP caliber like he was the year previous.
Right.
Like he was definitely a far cry from that. So it was great to see him start to ball out again, because it's only better for the league to have more dynamic quarterbacks that can come in and take the mantle. Drew Brees is gone. Yes, we'll talk about Brady and how he's balling out right now, but he's only destined to do this so much longer in the sense that like age catches up to everyone. I'm not going to go full Max Kellerman and be like, he's falling off the cliff tomorrow, but like Brady will eventually, his time will come as well. So you want to see these young quarterbacks step up and be the new faces of the league. And there was a little concern by folks that Lamar maybe was, hot flash in the pan at the start and couldn't come back to it. I don't think this speaks poorly on the Chiefs, but I do think it's like you said, Rocha, it does speak to their defense. And that's something that they're going to need to address, because yes, Patrick can get you somewhere between 3 and 5 touchdowns a game, but if you're giving up 6, who the fuck cares?
Right. It becomes like the old school AFC kind of conference game where it's like, well, what's the point of playing any defense? You just keep throwing the ball around. So eventually the offense is going to get tired. Eventually the offense can only do so much, and you're going to have to make a stop. And if you can't, that's really critical. And that's something they couldn't do against Tampa Bay the whole time in that Super Bowl. So to me, it doesn't feel like they fixed this defense the way they were hoping to fix this defense. And if you're a Ravens fan, though, how many more of these like last second games can you take? The game against the Raiders last week, and now this game. I mean, this is a lot to ask of a fan base in only 2 weeks. These kind of emotional roller coasters to go on. I don't know what I take away from this other than, yes, it's great that Lamar got the victory here, and it helps him achieve yet another thing in his career. He's still young in his career, but in the end, can he put enough of these games together when we get down into the playoffs to lead this team into the AFC Championship game at least? Because last year they won a playoff game. Now you got to get to the AFC Championship, and they've certainly got the tools. It's a matter of can that defense step up, because that defense was getting torn apart by KC as well. Mahomes threw for 343 yards and 24 for 31. So that's not bad for 3 touchdowns. Kelsey had 109 yards on him. So, I mean, this is not like a defense of old, the Ravens defense of old. So there's a lot of holes in both of these teams, I think, which could be dangerous down the road. Any final words on this one?
No, it's week 2. Great win. But I mean, look at the entire league. Like, all these games are going to go over. Missed field goals to win games, made field goals to win games, overtime wins. Like, the league is pretty even right now. Yes, there are probably the Chiefs and the Bucs are 2 favorites, and maybe now the Ravens. But everyone else is right there. Like, I don't think anyone's like a clear Super Bowl like shoe-in favorite like there's been in former years.
All right, let's move on here to the next game. We're going to move on to the Packers, the game from last night. Well, those rare times on Game Time where we get to actually talk about the Monday Night Football game after it's happened here. Winston, the Packers bounced back here. Aaron Jones caught 3 of Aaron Rodgers' 4 touchdown passes, rushed for a 4th score, lost his dad's ashes, then found them again later on today, and led this team to a 35-17 victory over the Lions. I don't know if beating the Lions like puts you back in the right frame of mind because they're the Lions. But then again, they needed that victory after what was after that mauling last week to the Saints, which now in retrospect, seeing how the Saints played this past Sunday looks even worse. So what do you take away from this? Was it just a typical victory by the Packers? But does it mean anything for them right now?
I think what it speaks more to is everything I've been saying for however long we've been doing Game Time. Jared Goff is not good. He's not good. Like he's just not good. Yeah. Like if we're being really, really real about this, like cool, he had an electric first half, 17 points, keeping the pace with Aaron Rodgers. And then when it came time to fucking do the damn thing, he just got laughed out of the stadium. Yeah. Bro, they didn't score the whole second half. Yeah. So what this speaks to, Aaron is not quite Aaron anymore, but he's still Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? So even a Michael Jordan on the Wizards is still fucking Michael Jordan. Yep. And so I'm not saying that Aaron has fallen off that steep at all. I would never say that. But it's clear. I'm actually a little concerned, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Seeing these photos of Aaron after everything, I'm not trying to go dark with this, but after everything that went on with Chadwick and how we were like, wow, he's lost a lot of weight. He looked and people were making fun of. I'm genuinely worried about Aaron because he looks very small.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So complete tangent, but I'm just saying that in the sense that no, this doesn't say anything specifically about the Packers. It shows that why Aaron Jones was a top 5 running back in fantasy. Yeah. But this wasn't some marquee win. The Lions are not good.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't know how to address Winston's point on his physical nature. I mean, he's doing these State Farm commercials still, so he's got some kind of drive here. Maybe there is something to explore. I think more this is an older man, Ben, isn't it? He's just I got Shailene Woodley back at the crib. I want to have another life after the NFL. I'm going to play out this season. This feels like a guy who's just kind of coasting a little bit. And not that passionate, hungry winner that you've seen before. Yeah, they got the victory, but it was really by numbers or by rote here. It wasn't some kind of passionate call to the troops. Even afterwards, he just said, it's great to have the trolls off our back. So, I mean, he didn't go for 500 yards. It was for 200 and something yards. It wasn't that much. So what do you take away from this for the Packers overall? Do you still think they're a power in the NFC right now?
I don't know if they're a power. I give the win a little bit more credit just because it was the Lions. And yes, the Lions are the Lions, but they're a division rival. It's not they beat it's not like they beat the Dolphins. They beat the Dolphins
or the Jaguars. Yeah,
exactly. Like a bad non-division team.
Yeah.
I understand your point, but it is the Lions. So I give them a little bit more credit, but no, Rodgers wanted out of the Packers. He wanted to do the Tom Brady route. Put me on a different good team. You guys have not. He feels like LeBron in Cleveland. He's like, why aren't you giving me the pieces? You are wasting me. I am the best quarterback in the league right now. Maybe or top 5 at the very a bad Aaron Rodgers is still top 5 in the league. And so he does feel like that now. Maybe he'll get that spark back if they rip off 2 or 3 wins or something. But he does feel like he's just going through the motions. He's got some, Aaron Jones is a good piece around him. It seems like they're going to probably move the offense through him now.
Yeah.
But, outside of Devontae Adams, and it's just he makes people good. With Peyton Manning, Austin Collie, and there'd always be a new receiver. Peyton Manning would be like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, he's injured. He's gone. Okay, cool. Bye. Quarterbacks can make receivers good, or make them work in their system. But the lack of offensive line, the lack of defensive help Aaron Rodgers has gotten, and you can tell he does not get along with this head coach at all. I think they've come to a professional standstill where they're not going to bash each other in the media, but it's just you could tell that the coach came in, he's like, this is my team. And Aaron wasn't consulted on the coaching choice.
Right.
He wasn't consulted on anything. It's no, this isn't the NBA where one player can really make the entire difference. But this is also your franchise quarterback that has given you your only ring in 30 plus years, or 25, 26 years. And you're not even going to consult him. You're not going to talk with him about what you want from the offense, what you want from the defense, who to pick for head coach, and then the head coach like kicks down the door and be like, "This is my team now." It's like, what's going on here? What is happening?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem like a good match. And I can't tell the Packers that they should have let their franchise quarterback go for pennies on the dollar, but it seems like he's playing in protest, honestly.
Yeah, it feels that way too when I'm watching him. It just doesn't feel like, as I said, like he's dialed in the way that he has in the past. Like I said, he went for 255 yards. He surpassed John Elway for 10th all time in passing yards. So that's good with 51,633 yards. That's insane to even think about as a number, for God's sakes. You were right about Goff, Winston, the first half. When, first half is the first half. Second half is really where you show your mettle as a quarterback. He was 13 of 14 in the first half, but then struggled the rest of the way. They blew a 17-14 lead. He threw for 246 yards. He did connect on 2 touchdown passes, but threw an interception, then lost a fumble. This is all happening in the rain. And you could tell he just folded under the pressure. Here he has a chance to lead this team and show what he can do, and he folded under the pressure against these Packers. And it was just like, this is what you got. This is why LA got rid of him. And this is why you look at Matt Stafford, you go, they made all the right moves here to make this decision.
That's what's wild is anybody that's defending Jared Goff at this particular point. I'll be honest, like, obviously he's better than any of us at quarterback. Like, we're not, like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I can out throw or outrun or outread a defense. Like, I'm not stupid. But when you're talking about the starting quarterbacks in the NFL, you had arguably one of the best teams in the league in the last like 5 to 6 years, but you were the thing holding them back. Because look at the way fucking Matt Stafford is cooking. Matt Stafford still found a way to make the Lions relevant in some form or fashion, and this place is a dumpster fire. Yeah. And then you give him a real team, and he starts balling on motherfuckers. Yeah. Like,
Matt Stafford would have won that game yesterday. I'll say that much. Like, Matt Stafford would have won that game against a middling Aaron Rodgers with like a strong run game. He would have found a way to win that game or make it close. Matt Stafford made every game a game at the very least. The guy was tough as nails. He found a way to get his team better, especially when he lost Megatron.
Oh yeah.
Like he kept that team in some, like, there was no like, oh, we're playing the Lions this week. Even if they were 6-9 or 4-8, like you still have to, it's a tough win, whatever Matt Stafford came to town or you went to Detroit. So it is such a big difference. And I don't want to compare him to like Joe Flacco because Joe has a ring, but it felt like Jared Goff had his year. They should have won that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They should have won. If you have Tom Brady playing like that, and what was it, a 10-3 game was the final score or something? Yeah. You have to win that game. With the Patriots playing that bad and Tom playing that mediocre, that's the game to win. And Jared couldn't do it.
He's the new Jake Delhomme. Gets that Super Bowl and then right off the cliff, and everyone exposes him. The defenses know how to play his tendencies, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see coming into the next few games how he responds to this kind of loss overall. 2 quick stats here for you. Jones became the first Packers running back to catch 3 touchdown passes in a game since Andy Uram against the Chicago Cardinals in 1942. I think I was there at that game. I think my dad took me that game. And Aaron Rodgers has followed up each of the Packers' last 5 regular season losses with exactly 4 touchdown passes and no interceptions in his next game. For the last 5 times they've lost in the regular season. That's such a weird kind of stat to have. And they play San Francisco next. So we'll see. Because Frisco's 2-0, but they're not like a strong 2-0. So you want to see if the Packers fold against these 49ers, then you know what you've got, what kind of team is here with Green Bay. And it could go downhill real easy, especially if Aaron starts to give up on the team, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
All right, keep sending in your Streamlabs Super Chats. We'll get to them after this particular talk here. We're going to jump into the next game here, and that is Derrick Henry and his Tennessee Titans bossing the Seahawks, getting the victory 33-30. Derrick Henry, who was kind of a non-factor last week in the game with the Titans, ran for 182 yards, including 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and Randy Bullock hit a 36-yard field goal midway through overtime to lead the Titans here and stun the Seahawks, and they came back twice in 14-point deficits in the fourth quarter. They came back twice, these Titans, to win this game. Ben, are you impressed with how the Titans respond? Are you impressed with what they did here against a Seattle team that looked damn good in week 1? And Titans kind of shit the bed last week against the Cardinals. Do you give them a little bit of credit for bouncing back here on the road against Seattle in what is usually a difficult place to play because of that 12th man?
I was going to say, I think Seattle's probably the most difficult place to play in the NFC. And then I'd say Kansas City is probably the hardest place to play in the AFC. Like, their thing is the 12th man is their fan base. Like, that's their thing. So I give the Titans so much credit. They are my AFC team. I've loved that they have surprised people the last 2 years in the playoffs. Derrick Henry, eventually he's going to stop because running backs take such a beating. But it is a pleasure to watch him play. And something about Titans running backs, he had Chris Johnson, back in the day, like getting the C2K, like 2,000 yards. And what was it, Eddie George? They just produce great running backs. And so it's fun to watch him just barrel down the sideline. And then it's crazy to see him outrun 5'7" cornerbacks. That's the thing. It's like when he gets when the train gets on the track, you don't want to tackle him because it's not like he's, Brandon Jacobs, where like he's big, but you can catch him. You can't catch him in the open field. And this is a scary athlete of a human being to try and get in front of him or even try and chase him down. So I'm loving the resurgence, the second act of Ryan Tannehill as well. He found his home and he found his system. So I'm fully behind the Titans bandwagon now. And if the Cowboys don't make it, that's who I rooted for last year, and I'll root for them again this year.
Okay. Winston, we know there was all this offseason talk between Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, this whole thing about, fixing the offense, giving him more help, giving him more. I mean, he played a great game here, 22 of 31 for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 63-yard strike to Tyler Lockett. And Chris Carson got himself a couple of touchdown runs as well to kind of help the burden. But does this loss to a Titans team where you were up 24-9 at one point, 30-16 early in the fourth quarter, and you blow it, does this now start to bring those doubts back to Russell Wilson that this team isn't the right team for him at this point?
I don't know. I mean, I think your main issue right now is you do need to fix a few holes in the defense. They have no run game. Like, look at these stats. I mean, you put a total of 77 yards on the ground, 16 from Russell, only 31 from your starting back, and Chris Carson only carried it 13 times. So literally all it is like, all right, so stop Metcalf, stop Lockett. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the problem then becomes you put up all those points because Lockett and Metcalf are insane, and I'm pissed that, we couldn't share some of the wealth over here with Metcalf. It all had to go to fucking Lockett and then Swain, I guess. Fucking fantasy just fucking me. But if you can put up those points, but you then can't run out the clock. And the way to do that is with at the very least, a bend don't break run game that can get you 5 yards here, 7 yards there. If you're getting 2-3 yard rushes, then you have to throw it or you have to punt, and you're giving a Derrick Henry led team a chance to just go off. So at this point, I've named Derrick Henry the Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. So if you stop him before he gets a full steam going, then you can slow him down. But if you notice, if Derrick Henry gets past that line, it's kind of over. He just trucks through people. So when you consider that the Legion of Boom is gone, and you consider that the beast mode is gone, so it's just Russell Wilson and these hot receivers, that ain't gonna do it. That will not do it, man.
Yeah, and they were trying to focus on the running game more last year with Chris Carson, and in the end, they still didn't get the job done in the playoffs. So now what do you do here? It feels like the team didn't really make that many changes for Russell, and you wonder if this is another situation like Aaron Rodgers, where Russell's maybe playing out the string this year, and then he's gone, man. It just feels a weird combo. And this is the kind of loss that can mess with you, because you've got to beat a team like Tennessee that comes in hungry like this if you really want to tell the rest of the people in the rest of the teams in the conference that you are a team to be taken seriously. It used to be that Seattle was a team that people were afraid to play because, as you said, the Legion of Boom and Russell. But now it feels like some of that shine is off of them. And they're beatable, especially that defense. Giving up so many points and so many yards in the running game is just a rough thing to consider for the Seattle Seahawks going forward. And Julio Jones, shout out to him, getting 128 yards receiving, for God's sakes, off 6 catches. So you're making the old man still looking good against your defense. That's not a good thing. That is,
and that's
not
the thing
a
is
good thing.
that I feel like with Julio Jones, like Ryan Tannehill's, like a mid-level quarterback. Like he's definitely better than he was on Miami, but he's not top 5, maybe top 10, maybe top 15. But with Julio, you have to respect the pass game because that is a person that you can just throw the ball straight in the air and he will come down with it. So you probably load the box, but they can burn you with the play action. They can get a big pass play now, and that's a receiver they have not had in the past.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm looking forward to it. I like the Titans too. I hope they've turned it around here and kind of, Vrabel coaching them and making sure. Yeah, go ahead, Winston. Go ahead.
I just worry that they were the source of COVID woes last year, and I have a feeling that may or may not be over. I don't remember the team being very anti-vax.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they'll be out. But remember the rules that's in place now. If you have to postpone the game for COVID and you're vaccinated, it's fine. But if you have to postpone the game for COVID and you have unvaxxed players that were the source of it, that's a forfeit. So hopefully the Tennessee has gotten their shit together. And the only high profile anti-vaxxers I can think of are Cole Beasley and I want to say Hopkins. I don't know if he's changed the tune or not.
Kirk Cousins.
So, I don't like to think about him. He's not good. He's not good and he's obnoxious. So whatever.
Agreed. All right, so we'll see what happens. Tennessee has Indianapolis next, and Indianapolis looks like they're hurting right now. So could be another mauling by the Titans next week against them. And then the Seahawks play Minnesota. Speaking of Kirk Cousins, on Sunday, that's probably going to be another high-scoring affair. Can they get the job done against those?
They got to keep up in that NFC West too. Yeah. NFC West does not seem to be slow. Like Niners, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. That is a high scoring division that is going to have a lot of wins. So you cannot fall too far behind.
You could argue if the 49ers take care of business against the Packers, that this is maybe the strongest division in football right now. You could absolutely argue that
for sure
after next week if they keep the winning here. Daniel Haygood said, would have been a better game if the Chargers had played the Dallas Cowboys instead of the Dallas referees.
Oh, crazy how this week it's the referees, but last week that wasn't offensive.
Well, right, it wasn't exactly. Yeah. First of all, miss me with that. Second of all, the only thing that I will give you in that regard, to me. Yeah. When I was there, and mind you, I'm caught up in the hoopla. It looked like grounding to me. Like he was trying to shave a sack. Yeah. But people are like, no, I should have. Okay, fine. Even if that's the case, I still think we potentially hold him to a field goal there. So who cares? But let's just be real about this. A lot of these calls that were happening from shit that the Chargers were doing. The only thing that I will say that I think was a little egregious is when Keenan Allen got in the face of one of our defenders, and this whole no fun league bullshit is in full effect. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the montage. It's fucking stupid.
They're ridiculous.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. The taunting was, and the Ringer called it out in their article on Monday morning, saying that it's John Mara, who is the owner of the Giants. He's the guy in the competition committee who said, quote unquote, I'm sick and tired of seeing these players taunting each other and having, doing what they're doing here. So we're going to put a stop to it. A guy who's never played in the NFL, who's never been out there to try and do anything in the league. He's just a rich country club, old ass white man trying to tell a predominantly black league how they should and should not celebrate. And that's some fucking ridiculous nonsense. And it's low key racist too. And that shit's they got to kick that shit out. Fans enjoy players celebrate.
I honestly feel like if you get in the face of another player and a fight ensues, then you should get penalized for that. Absolutely. But to get in your face and be like, what's up, bitch? I fucking did it on your ass. You thought you was going to stop me. You ain't stopping shit. Like, what? Like, that's standard. That's fucking standard. Yeah. Like, come on.
I mean, was it the Seahawks defender who was just like, and then just got up and celebrated, and they got him taunting?
Yeah. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid.
Like, this isn't, even if you want to do it in college, like I can't remember, it was like a BYU game where the quarterback celebrated by just like tossing the ball like this, like he scored, and like, that's a taunting, you're taking away the touchdown. And it's like,
they took away a touchdown?
Like in college, you take away the score.
Wow.
And so like they'll never do that in NFL, but it's like, do you really want a game decided by such a judgment call if someone's taunting or just celebrating? Like, it's getting to that. And, I'm sure Chargers fans can call that now. And like, you don't even want that discussion of like being like, oh, you celebrated too hard, we're going to take away this big play. Or, even if it's like an extra point, we're going to move the extra point back to a 45-yard extra point instead of a 30-yard. That makes a difference. It's so stupid.
It is ridiculous. I agree with you 1,000%. Alex Tornai says, what has stood out to you most in the first 2 weeks of the season? For me, it's Big Ben's rapid decline. He is done after this season. Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you agree with that, or what stood out for you?
I think the Steelers are definitely looking at who's a senior in college right now. Like, absolutely. And it's not like Father Time, like Winston was saying, Father Time is undefeated. He never loses, no matter who you are. If Tom Brady never lost, undefeated. And Tom Brady's time is coming up soon, and I'm sure he'll do it like more gracefully. I'm sure, but it seems like it should have been last year. Honestly, what are they 11-0, and then they just that's a team that fell off a cliff. Yeah, but you can't blame the Steelers for giving him one last go. But it seems like it's the last go round.
Yeah, what do you think, Winston? And what has impressed you the most in the first 2 weeks?
Matthew Stafford balling, Derek Carr balling.
Yes.
Because everybody's writing him off. Yeah, everybody's writing him off. Tom Brady apparently being like, "Bitch, I want another MVP. Are you fucking kidding me?"
He is cryogenically doing something.
Yes, I swear to God, bro. I swear to God. Tom hooked up with Loki in the TVA. He went and got all the variants of his fucking ass, and they've all been training together. And he's like, "All right, you go in for this game. You're really good against this team. You go against and they're just rotating out so nobody's fucking getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking stupid. It doesn't make sense. And then my last big takeaway is honestly that the Cowboys are good. I'm not gonna grandstand and be like, we're gonna win it all. Like, I hope we do. I think we might. We've got too many injuries right now, so I don't know. But to have had that many starters be out and us to win this game, and to put Tom Brady with his back against the wall and he has to fucking put the team on his back to finish that game last week, nobody expected us to do that. They thought that was going to be a fucking blowout. So those are my biggest takeaways.
Okay. I take away Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray kind of, it seems like he's making the leap here, and we're watching him make the leap in this second or third season here as the quarterback of the Cardinals, and I'm looking forward to seeing what more we get. We're going to get to him later on in the show for sure, but that's the one that's impressed. Yes, Stafford, absolutely, but that was a team already ready built for a quarterback to come in there. So, but seeing what Kyler and Cliff Kingsbury are doing there in Arizona gets me excited to see what the possibilities are. They feel like the Golden State Warriors to me in the NFL. They can start hanging 50 to 60 on teams if they really put their full offensive game plan in motion. And I'm looking forward to it for sure. And I agree with Winston. The Cowboys are good. I'm not going to deny that at all. Going toe-to-toe with Brady like that and then handling their business against LA, whatever you want to say about the refs, you got to get that victory. You got to make that field goal, especially a guy who was getting pilloried last week for the misses he made against Tampa Bay for him to come back out.
God damn it. I was ready to fire his ass, but to be there, bro, the only thing I regret is I was filming the last field goal, so I kind of missed the kick.
Oh, okay.
But like to be there, bro, it felt like Kobe hit a buzzer beater. Like shit went fucking wild. Like when I tell you, like it was louder every time we did anything.
Yeah,
it was so much louder from the Cowboys fan, like to the point where boos would happen. And you're like, who are they booing? I honestly don't know who is being booed.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
Yeah, like they're not an LA team, man. Like,
yeah, they're not.
I feel bad for the team that they have no home field advantage, and they did. Like, granted, they definitely needed a new stadium in San Diego, and the mayor wasn't going to give it to them, but they have no advantage in LA at all.
Well, you never know. It was not going to happen. It will never happen against the Raiders. It'll never happen against the Cowboys. It's not going to happen against the Rams. Any of those teams. Maybe because
Steelers fans travel. The terrible towels travel.
I know they travel too.
I know those teams travel. The difference was the three teams I named didn't need to travel. the amount of Cowboys, Raiders, and Rams fans in this city, because remember, there were no LA teams for 2 decades?
Yeah.
And so the number of people I know here, like mainly Latinos, who are diehard Raiders and Cowboys fans, were like, let's go Raiders. How about them Cowboys? We're going the whole way this year, fam. Like that is the city. So and the truth
Fargo.
is,
I'm gonna give it a little Fargo.
I mean, the truth is, when I was at the game, like all colors and faces, but it was a legit number of Latinos that were like, "How about them Cowboys?" It was dope as shit, and like it was so much fucking fun, man.
I think the reason Latinos love the Cowboys the way they do is the Cowboys symbolize America, and a lot of us come over. And so my dad was a massive Cowboys fan. He was. He came. He saw that star when he came over from Bolivia, and he became a lover of the Cowboys. Like. Everything. And so it's just, I think a lot of Latinos just gravitate to that and love the symbolism of it overall. So what can I tell you?
The best part about it, which we're not at the game yet. I can't wait till we get to the game. Yeah. I have a really funny story.
All right. My brother Aaron Turner in here is the Derrick Henry is king. Huge win for Tennessee. That's for damn sure. Thank God. He got me a monster amount of points on fantasy, by the way. Oh, and I drafted for my 8th fantasy league today and finally got Dak Prescott as my quarterback. So I'm going to follow.
You're drafting 2 weeks into the fucking season.
I didn't like having 7 leagues. I'm a thing about even numbers, so I drafted an 8th one. Why not?
Jesus Christ.
Population. I was at Chargers game, $15 for one 24-ounce beer. I got 8 beers. All right.
Oh my God.
Are you still drunk from them? Because that grammar is killing me right now.
It's just a robot. I think it's a robot. 8 beers. Let's see here. And we got a Streamlabs came through from Eric Kirby. He says, hey guys, do any of you know why they took Max Kellerman off of First Take? And do you think it will help or hurt the show? The rumors I hear is that Stephen A. Smith didn't like him on the show, so they got him out because Stephen A. makes all the money over there. What do you guys think? Is that what you guys have heard too, or what do you think happened here?
What I've heard is exactly that. It wasn't the kind of give and take that you got from Skip, where sometimes Skip will make a good point and sometimes Stephen A. would make a good point, more times Stephen A. than Skip. Now that Stephen A. is the face of it, Max kind of dunked on Stephen A. a lot. Like a lot of his points were a lot stronger than Stephen A.'s. And so it kind of sounded like Stephen A. was like, bitch, this is my show. So even though it seems like they are good on the surface, I don't think that there's like any bad blood or anything like that. It definitely sounded like Stephen A. wanted, because look at who they brought in. I love me some Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin's kind of wild, bro. He kind of flies off the handle. You brought in I want to say Sam Acho. I know Sam is doing stuff for ESPN now, but I want to say Sam is on Mondays. Sam is very knowledgeable, like a good homie from grade school back in the day and stuff like that. Like he'll do a great job, but he's also now a rookie at being a talking head. Yeah. So that gives a little bit of an advantage, non-football speak, over Sam in that regard. So like he's lined it up that he has a different guest every day, I believe, which means that he can kind of just be like, it literally feels like if Michael, instead of saying I'm gonna go to the Wizards, goes I'm gonna go play in China, and then starts putting up 100 points a game on everyone there. That's kind of what it feels like right now.
Wait, is this true? Are they bringing?
Oh, that's what it is. Irving is Mondays, Tebow is Fridays. Tebow is every Friday. That's right. Irving is Monday and Tebow is Friday. Baby. Yes.
And that's the thing.
I got it wrong.
Exactly that. You don't want to see Max Kellerman win arguments because it's not memeable. It's Stephen A. made a career out of proving Skip wrong because Skip would. Tony Romo's the best quarterback in the league. LeBron's never going to win a championship. LeBron choked. LeBron's never going to be Kobe. LeBron this.
LeBron ain't the best. You out your damn mind, God.
Exactly.
You out your mind. You will put some respect on the kid. Aaron Rodgers, that's a bad
And, Stephen A. walking in with the cowboy jersey, hey, like that. That's the stuff that did it because he was clowning Skip. Yeah. Max would, like Winston said, Max would be right like 80% of the time. And not like funny right either. Not like, oh, you proved Stephen A. wrong. He would just be like, yeah, this is going to happen because of this, this, and this, and this. He was too logical to be on First Take. He needs to be on like a different show.
There were two arguments that Max made that didn't make any sense to me. One sort of made sense, but it just did not come to
Iguodala?
fruition. What is Iguodala? That makes zero sense.
That was his
Keep him
moment,
on
and
the
everyone
line.
says it. That's the thing. That's the memeable moment. Like,
On the line.
who would I want? I want to give Iguodala.
Iguodala, sure. And then the other one was not that Iguodala. If you don't have Steph and LeBron as potential options or KD, then fine. But considering those are all options,
yeah.
And then the other one was the Tom Brady going off the cliff. By all intents and purposes, he should have been right because Father Time does not. He comes for everyone. So there's no reason that by what because is he 40 yet? He's 40 now,
44.
right? So that's
Tom
my
Brady?
point. At 44, he should not be playing like this.
He says
this
he wants
doesn't
to go
make
till
sense.
He's 50.
More people lost their job for that. Like Trent Dilfer is no longer on Monday Night Football. Like plenty of people have lost their job saying Tom Brady was going to fall off a cliff. Max Kellerman was good enough at his job, and people liked him enough that he just lost this one, and he'll bounce back.
Oh,
but yeah, I can't wait to see Tim Tebow say the dumbest college player shouldn't be paid because I didn't get paid. It's like shut the fuck up.
He's even going to chew up that white boy and spit him out.
Yeah,
that's not even going to.
I can't wait.
ESPN's The Jump replaced by NBA Today, hosted by Malika Andrews. Whoa.
Wait, wasn't Malika the one that Rachel Nichols was shitting on in the first place?
I think so. Yeah. No, because she went to
no. Yeah, it wasn't.
Fox Sports, I think. She went to Fox Sports or
okay.
NBC, but Malika Andrews coming in and taking the spot there. Yikes. Roberto Arsenal says, I hate the Cowboys, but I'm cool with Winston for supporting Arsenal. Raiders should have been in LA, and the Chargers should have gone to Vegas. No. The Chargers do not fit in Vegas. Have you ever been to Vegas, Roberto? Does that strike you as a powder blue, yellow, white town?
No.
Hell no. It is black and gold or black and silver. That's Vegas.
See, the what should have happened is the Rams should have come here. The Raiders should have worked it the fuck out with Oakland because you took away their fucking team. Agreed. And then, you send the Chargers, change the color scheme or something, rename them. I don't give a fuck. But, they were a team that didn't have a home. Nobody really wanted them. And Vegas wanted a team. Oakland begged for them to fucking stay, but they're like, we want our super stadium and you're not going to give it to us. Go fuck yourself. So that was really shitty, I think, because I don't know a city that supports their team greater than maybe Oakland outside of maybe the Saints.
Yeah, I gotta say that was the most genius PR move by The Rock in that season of Ballers, where his whole pitch was like, "We're gonna keep the team in Oakland." Like, you know what? You can like The Rock or not, but he's a smart motherfucker.
Yes, he is,
bro.
Yes, he
bro. Is. Ballers is underrated because, even though as a show it was kind of shitty entourage, it had a lot of really great moments, and probably the best ones were the addressing of issues in the NFL, including trying to get Oakland to stay, but then even trying to get them lifetime health insurance when they want to do 18 games now a season and stuff like that, and then getting real NFL players to send in video footage of hey, it's your boy, Jason Pierre-Paul. I blew my fingers off. I don't know what that has to do with football, but also this is my homie over here. You see what happened to his ankle. He's never going to walk normally without pain again. Right. That was a really cool moment to have real NFL players speak up on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Agreed. Deontay Winbush, I got to read this one. Remember when T.O. said Max is blacker than Steve?
Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. That shit is hilarious. I watch it once every couple months, and it's not because I don't love Stephen A. and Stephen A's not black. It's just that Max would ride for my niggas. So sometimes I had to be yo, I mean. And the funny thing is Stephen A got pissed. Max was like, shit. But Max didn't know what to say. He didn't want to say no thank you, but he also didn't want to make it worse.
Oh my God.
Eric Kirby saying, Winston, thoughts on former players saying Max is blacker than Stephen A. I think he addressed that just now. So yeah. Oh man. So true. All right, let's see if we got any more. Oh, we got one more from Phil P. Says, love from London, RIP Jimmy Greaves. He has the record for most goals in the English top flight with 357 and 266 in 379 matches for my Tottenham Hotspur. With 366, he's only behind Ronaldo and Messi for the most goals in Europe's top 5 leagues. Farewell, GOAT. Yep, absolutely. And I was listening to The Guardian yesterday on their soccer podcast. They were giving all the flowers to Jimmy Greaves. Not only did he overcome alcoholism after he was finished as a player, he revolutionized what it was like to call games. So not only was he incredible on the pitch, he also changed broadcasting for football games there in Europe and in England. So much love to Jimmy Greaves, and rest in peace. Legend. Rest in peace, man. All right, let's move on to our next game here after and speaking of Tom Brady, the old man, he threw 5 touchdowns, and the Bucs crushed the Falcons here 48-25. He was 24 of 38 for 276 yards and 5 touchdowns. As I said, Mike Edwards also returned 2 of Tampa Bay's 3 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, as the Bucs scored 30 plus points in a victory for the NFL record 9th straight time. This had happened twice before in 2007 and 2010. And who did that? Tom Brady with the Patriots. So this motherfucker is on a whole nother level, still breaking records, still accomplishing things. I mean, and Gronkowski had a pair of Gronkowski looks reborn with Tom Brady here in Tampa Bay.
Speaking of cryo, like old hobbling Gronkowski, who couldn't do anything his last year of the Patriots, was like basically a decoy in that final Super Bowl, like retired, and everyone's like, yes, this makes sense. Thank God, because you are going to have some CTE in 30 years. Comes back and looks like Gronkowski from 2012. It's nuts.
They've combined Winston for 88 touchdown passes as a quarterback and a receiver, one behind Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates for second place. Top is Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison with 112. That's incredible for a guy who's constantly been injured, was retired at one point for an entire season and a half. For him to have 88 with Tom Brady is mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think that that's the story of this game. I mean, Brady's going Brady. It is what it is. It's Mike Edwards, bro. How do you get back-to-back interception touchdowns? Back-to-back pick sixes, bro? Like, that was insane. And I got to give them credit because, let's be honest, Tampa Bay's defense is good. Their secondary is weak in that it happened during the Cowboys game. I don't remember who their lead corner is. But he got injured. Yeah. And then you saw all of a sudden Dax really started taking advantage of the fact that then they had a bunch of young dudes or inexperienced dudes, generally speaking. So like that's their big hole. So for them not only to hold the Falcons to 25, but to have 2 pick sixes back to back out of Mike Edwards, that to me is fucking huge, bro. Yeah. That is absolutely, because I expect Brady to go off for at least 275 yards and at like 3-ish touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? 5 is great, but the Falcons are the Falcons. So whatever. God, but for
speaking of someone that's never recovered from a Super Bowl, Matt Ryan. Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel bad. He's a millionaire. He's good. Like he's fine. But just like someone who has never recovered from that 28-3 comeback, like especially facing Tom Brady, like he's just like the Kill Bill music, every time he sees Tom Brady. But and he's just not the same person. Yeah. And the Falcons have had the weapons. They had the pair of running backs. They had Julio. Oh, yeah. They had JTE. They had people set up for another run and a third run, and it's just like Matt Ryan is just, I don't want to call him damaged goods. That sounds mean, but it just seems like he's going to finish out his career in Atlanta. He'll have a pretty good stats-wise career, but just what a miss.
I think the one thing that sucks, because like I know it's kind of affecting his brain, so maybe in those moments where you need him to like do something magical to get him out of it, but like barring those 3 interceptions, which were big, he still went off for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying?
And the second interception was like a tip straight up in the air, and like they caught it. They were on the 10, so like those I don't count too hard.
Yeah.
Well, but I go ahead, John.
No, I was just saying Brady improved to 9-0 against the Falcons, and the Falcons have lost 7 straight now, going back to last year. And since Brady was down 17-0 at halftime of their Week 15 meeting in Atlanta last December, he's thrown for 11 touchdowns versus 1 interception against these Falcons and guiding the Bucs to 3 victories in this series. So, I mean, like, it's insane. And nothing put a punctuation point on this more than in the fourth quarter. I was watching in between, like I was watching the red zone and stuff, and I was watching this game, and they had a commercial with Matt Ryan for Tide with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Ice-T. And Matt Ryan literally walks up with the jersey, and they're talking about washing the dirt off the jersey and all this kind of stuff. And he's pitching Tide to both of them. And then he looks at Ice-T and he goes, "Double ice, man." And Ice-T goes, "Nah, dog, nah." Nothing punctuates the loss like that more than even Ice-T don't want to touch you because you're a cooler and you can fuck up his career by him touching you. So
I just, bro,
how do you get clowned on in your own commercial by Ice-T?
Well, here's the thing. I think Matt Ryan needs a Matt Stafford type trade. He needs to go to a team that like has enough pieces because he's older. We talked about this last year. He needs to go to a team that just needs a sub because again, his quarterback play isn't poor. He just, there is a stank on him on this team that he's just not getting the job done. But it's not just about him. Like if we're being honest, just look at the team. The team is not good. You never really figured it out with the new coach. Like,
I mean, Cordarrelle Patterson is getting the job done, but Cordarrelle Patterson should be your third or fourth option. He should not be leading your team in any category.
In receiving and rushing.
In receiving and rushing.
Cordell Patterson is out there like Booby Miles, man, just like doing everything for the team, and he's going to run himself ragged. But yeah,
good comparison.
Like Matt Ryan, like on the Niners, Matt Ryan on the Dolphins, something like that, where like, they've got a quarterback that maybe can't stay healthy. Matt Ryan's a tough son of a bitch. I'll give him that. Like he stays out there and he doesn't miss games. So I agree with Winston. Maybe a fresh start somewhere. Like, could rejuvenate a team and rejuvenate Matt Ryan.
Send him to look, if Tua is that injured, that would work. That the Texans would work. Miami would work if Tua is really this injury prone. I would be terrified to see him in Washington because you guys got that defense. If all of a sudden you have a quarterback, like bro, that's terrifying. John's walking down right now. Who I gotta call in fucking DC to get goddamn that right?
Happen. Make it happen. I'll trade you Fitz on 5% on the dollar. Anyway. Oh, Matt Ryan of the Vikings. That could be interesting for sure.
There's a lot of teams that are a quarterback away. That the quarterback they have is just not good. And Matt Ryan, in my opinion, is better than all of them. He just I think there is a cloud hanging over his head, but a fresh start, as we've said, could just clear that for him. Because he's still balling.
Look at Darnold with the
oh my
Panthers.
God.
He looks reborn.
Oh my God, dude.
Holy God, incredible. Eric Kirby says, have you guys seen Peyton and Eli doing Monday Night Football? I know it's only 2 weeks, but I think towards the end of the season when they get more games, this will be a very fun watch. What do you guys think?
I only saw the clip that was circulating on Twitter where they were shitting on the Patriots. About so like Eli goes, so brother, were you ever scared after they did the suit? Like, we played the Super Bowl in your house. Were you worried? He was like, oh, yeah, no, I took the guys whenever we needed to do a receiver quarterback meeting. We would go in the shower and turn all the showers on because you're like, hey, guys, don't speak in front of my locker. That's a hot mic in there for sure. They left something in that bitch. So we're just going to go over to the showers and we'll talk in there. It's weird that we're all clothed in here, and not just doing a get in, get out, but like, hey. And I was like, yo, you guys can't do this. You can't just on TV. Like, fuck.
They don't care. They are so set up post NFL. They can say whatever they want, and people are loving it.
Yep, absolutely. And it's been funny. And someone said, like, well, someone's talking to me was like, do you think they'll move them to the main show next week? No, they won't because there's more restrictions when you go to the main show. Yeah. You've got sponsors to worry about. They're good where they're at, having fun, bringing on different guests depending on the timing of the game. And they're great. And it's such
they don't want to call the game.
Yeah, exactly. Whoever came up with that deserves a fucking raise over there at ESPN because that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. All right, let's move on here to our next game. And the Brady, who does Brady play next? The Buccaneers face the Rams. That could be a heck of a game.
That's a game right there.
And it's at SoFi. God, I wish I could go to that game. And then
expensive.
I'm sure it is. And then Brady, and then Brady returns to New England after that. So it could be 2-2. Or 4-0, 3. I mean, it could be very interesting to see what the Buccaneers, where they end up after these next 2 weeks. All right, let's move on to y'all's Cowboys here. They took care of business, defeating the Chargers 20-17. Dak Prescott directed the Cowboys on an 11-play, 49-yard march against the Chargers, culminating Greg Zuerlein's 56-yard field goal as time expired. Dak Prescott was 23 of 27 for 237 yards and an interception. But the Dallas Cowboys overcame the loss of 5 players to win this game there in LA. And it's Zerline's 11th game-winning kick and 3rd with the Cowboys. And there's a little more balance between the play calling here. 59 times last week they dropped back to pass out of 77 plays. This was a little more balanced. Both Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott got their numbers. Winston, I go to you first. What's your feeling here? Because they still allowed Justin Herbert to get 300 yards passing, and it was a close game all the way through until that last kick. Do you take away from this that your Cowboys are built a little stronger this year than they were last year? And do you have faith in Prescott coming off of that injury even more so now?
Oh, 1,000%. And I think a lot of times what can be very misleading with how many yards a defense gives up, it could just happen on one shitty ass play. And there is one shitty ass play that I distinctly remember. It was a 42-yard catch by Keenan Allen. Yep. It was the one that he got the taunting call for because right after he ran over to the defender, be like, "You can't guard me, bitch. You can't guard me, nigga." Like, so that's on him. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel fine with how everything went down because the defense stepped up when they needed to. 2 interceptions, 1 in the end zone. Yep. That's fucking huge. The fact that Zerline got his shit together and made all the kicks that were appropriate for us to finish that game. Because I spent the whole game just like, he's still on the team. Oh, this bitch. Like I spent the whole game just stressed out about that.
Yeah.
But I think the real story out of Dallas, and I'm kind of nervous about this, it's Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
He might be the new face of the backfield, and they're not just going to let Zeke go, but it might be one of those situations where you remember when they had Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, the law firm. And his ass went from being the lead all the time back to like, all right, big boy, you are going to be our goal line back, and we're going to use some of these scat bats to do everything else. Mm-hmm. Pollard might be the new face of everything outside the red zone. And then you either bring in Elliott for an occasional change of pace or you bring him in to punch it in, which is where he got that first touchdown from, was punching it in because he's obviously a little bit bigger than Pollard in that regard. So
yeah. Well, I mean, Ben, we can't ignore the 12 penalties for 99 yards, 2 touchdowns being taken away here. But in the end, that's the game. And if you come out on top, you got to take that victory and move forward. Considering all the players that have been injured over the last few weeks for the Cowboys, this is more of a morale boosting win, don't you think?
Yeah, we definitely needed this. And our defense, we've never had a Ravens defense, since like the 90s, with Dion. But it's going to be a bend don't break defense, and we're going to rely on this offense. And Winston's right. This feels like a repeat of when we had like Marion Barber, Felix Jones, and Tashard Choice, like three really good running backs.
Remember that.
And Barber, we had he has a brother, Julius Jones. We had Julius Jones, and he was the number 1. Then Marion Barber came in, and he was like, Marion the Barbarian, okay. And then we drafted Felix Jones, like, he's a kickoff returner. And then that Eagles game, so just around the way, he's just gonna outrun everybody, and he became like the feature back.
But not really, because then here comes Murray and like Felix.
And then the
pressure got put on him.
We just go through. We make running backs, and then it seems like we send them off to different teams to not do as well.
To do really well for a season. You remember when he went to Tennessee and balled out?
He went to the Eagles first, and he was terrible. Then he bounced back with the Titans, because the Titans and running backs. I swear to God. But no, it does seem like it's going to be a more running back by committee, because last year Pollard was the 3rd and long, you're in. Like screen pass, you're in. But everything else, so it's Zeke. But now, but I think Zeke has matured. He seemed really mature in Hard Knocks. Yes. It seems like he'd be okay with the running back by committee. And I think his legs can use it, because we ran him the first few years of his career. Everything was through Zeke. Right. So our offense is going to have to lead the way. We're going to have to be the Chiefs. We're going to have to score, 25, 30 points a game. And our defense is going to be like, okay, we got to hold these guys to a more field goals than touchdowns is going to be the goal of the defense. And especially using DeMarcus Lawrence, our best pass rusher, that hopefully we get him back in the middle of the season, but we can't really count on that.
Yeah.
But that's a tough injury to lose. So hopefully the rest of them step up.
And blessed him. We don't have Gregory right now. Like we lost our bookend end rushers, which sucks. But some of the things about this game, I gotta share some of these experiences, bro.
Please.
Like again, walking up to the stadium. First of all, that was the best thing to do. Is that my mom lives walking distance, so we parked at her house and walked up. We were just we thought we were slick. We went and got our seltzer waters and we finished them and put Bud Lights in them. And then there was hell no. You think they give a fuck? All these black Cowboy fans just Hennessy bottles. Like, what's up, Nick? Let's go ahead and get this fucking win, baby. I was like, oh my god. Like literally, I got offered a Hennessy shot by the black dudes. Then I went and met some of the Latino Cowboys fans also walking up. They're just handing out Patron shots to motherfuckers. So I'm wasted getting to the stadium. We get in that motherfucker. It's nice. We're in like the 500 section, so it's up, but there is not a bad seat in the house because of that screen and the way they put the seats, which was super fucking cool. My only gripes, they don't have TVs at any of the concession stands. So if you don't have a straight shot into the big screen in the center, you have no idea what the fuck is going on. So that was mad frustrating, especially because I left the end of the second quarter early because I saw things were kind of winding down to go pee and then get food. P line was fast. I was then waiting in line through halftime up to like 2 or 3 minutes into the third quarter. It was like pretty, there's a lot of fucking people there. But it was fucking wild, man. Like, again, the fact that it was essentially a Cowboys home game was super dope. Yeah. They got all the bells and whistles. The architecture is incredible. Yeah. It really is a time. So if you can make it to SoFi, you would definitely should check it out. Especially since unfortunately Inglewood is now gentrified than a motherfucker. Like between this and the Clipper Stadium that's coming, the Clippers Arena.
Oh man,
you know, so.
Intuit Arena. Yeah, it looks insane what they're going to do with that arena. Ballmer's going to do with that. I went there last year during the pandemic over the summer to see when it was being built, and I got to see like the VR thing that they're doing in there. Holy shit. Like just if you can bring your Oculus and sit in the game and be like sit way up there, but feel like you're sitting, that's just a hell of an experience. You get that kind of extra stuff going on for sure. I just checked the prices. The to be there near the ground level for the Buccaneers game is $2,500. All the way up at the top, it's about $192 all the way at the back.
Well, that's cheaper. That's cheaper because all the way in the back, we were in 535.
Okay.
I had a friend who hooked it up, so she sold it to us for 160 a piece. But like they were going, the going rate for that row in that section was like 230, something like that. So I think because it's the Cowboys, and again knowing the Cowboys are that team for a lot of people in the city, it was higher. But that's not terrible. Like if you want to do that, when's that game next week?
Next week, could you see everything? Could you saw the whole field?
Yeah.
Right?
You could see it. It really didn't look that like because I'll be honest with you, when you watch it at home, you're getting that bird's eye view. It looks the same distance from up there as it does on your TV, but then you have the giant fucking monitor, and then just the fucking energy and the sound. It's great, man. It is a great experience.
I might convince my girlfriend. She hates Tom Brady, so I might convince her. All right, Josh Mabry says Zeke still at 73% of the snaps compared to 34% for Pollard. That could possibly go up, but don't take away Zeke's blocking ability.
I mean, true.
It's true.
That
is very true.
But I think we are going to use Pollard a lot because he is going to get paid next year. If he stays healthy, he's going to get paid next year because that guy's I don't know what his contract is, but he is due for a big payday. So I don't know if we can keep both of them. Yeah. So we're going to use him a lot this year, I'm assuming.
FJM72 says, can't watch right now, but I am glad your show is back. Quick question. Does anyone have a running back San Francisco can use right now?
Damn. Y'all got any of them running backs?
They lost 3 running backs in one game over the weekend. That's insane.
That's ridiculous, man.
Insane. I mean, the guy who was initially injured, they brought him back at the end of the game because the other 2 dudes got injured within a few plays of each other. So, and this is dating back to last year, even the year before. They've had these problems. So San Francisco's like the anti-Tennessee, like it's bouncing the universe.
Yeah,
these guys. Yeah,
this sounds like a murder mystery. Like who on the practice squad was like, I'm gonna get my shot, and they've been like secretly putting like bone brittle fucking pills in their goddamn water or some shit. Like what is happening?
It's like Spinal Tap with drummers. Like it's like they keep spontaneously combusting.
Let's see what I got here. Joseph says, I'm surprised the sister is still across the street traffic.
Yeah, the traffic's bad. Now, this is the one thing I do need to say, and I'll warn you ahead of time. The food, at least in that upper area, is awful.
Yeah, of course.
It was so fucking bad. No, but see, that's the bullshit. Because you've been to Jerry World, haven't you, Ben?
No, I haven't. I need to go to Jerry World.
Okay.
So the analogy I was giving people, so what Jerry Jones, just being the smart businessman he is, he's charging the same amount all the other stadiums do. Right. But like if the lower level, like the executive level for all these other stadiums is like equivalent to like say an Outback or Ruth Chris, something like that. That's what he has.
Let's make sure Outback and Ruth Chris are not on the same level. I just want to put that out there real quick.
I'll be honest with you, based off of the number of steakhouses I've been to, Ruth Chris is okay at best. But anyway, my point is that Jerry, and it's not obviously just steaks that he's selling, it's barbecue, all that shit. That quality of food, that the Ruth Chris quality of food is for their nosebleed section. And then his ground floor is like Gordon Ramsay steak or STK or you know what I'm saying? Like, versus for this place, obviously they have their lower levels are really good, but that higher level food was god awful, and it was too expensive.
That's the way it is in LA, man. For the Dodgers games, I went there when they used to have 25 game passes. If you got put at the top level, man, it's crap food.
At least it was the Dodger dog.
It was the worst. The Dodger dog is shit. Yeah, I got. Like my parents got like free Dodger tickets like at an auction or something. Like, well, we can't make it. Here you go. And like I remember it was like where are these? Up the stairs. Where are these? Up the stairs. Where are these? Up the stairs. Like, okay. And so I was shaking hands with Jesus. We were so high up in Dodger Stadium. And I will say, I don't know if like they're like making the Dodger dog and then it just gets passed up the way of like, these are expired for the A+ people. Here we go for the F tier people. So I must have gotten like, the 5th pass on this Dodger dog, but it was not good.
I dropped this one on the ground. All right, put it in the bin. We'll send it.
Yeah. So we'll send it up to the Raptors.
Oh my God.
Horrific. All right, let's keep going on. We're running out of time here. The Cardinals escaped the Vikings by a missed field goal here, 34-33. This was a fantastic game to watch because and Gus Johnson calling it made it even more fantastic because the swings in this game were just insane. Kyler Murray threw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns to get the job done. Greg Joseph missed a 37-yard field goal, arguably a chip shot for a guy of Greg Joseph's experience and in the final seconds, and it was insane. Arizona had a 24-23 halftime lead, and there were no touchdowns in the final quarter at all, but Murray also ran for touchdowns, but threw 2 costly interceptions. So to me, I don't know I hope I can say this correctly, in terms of he's a black gunslinger. That's what he is, and I'm enjoying watching what he does. I mean, it feels a little bit like Favre, although I hate to use that reference, but it feels similar to what Murray is doing. I remember watching him when he was younger, and it's the same kind of vibe. Like to him, throwing an interception was no big deal because the next time out, he knew he was going to go drive them down 80 yards for a touchdown. He's insane for this. And the sad part of the Greg Joseph situation is he had made 2 52-yard field goals earlier in the game, but couldn't get it done with a 37-yarder at the end. Kirk Cousins threw for 244 and 3 touchdowns. Winston, are we seeing Kyler Murray make the jump here, or is it still too soon to say, given last week and this week, the way he's played?
I mean, you gave my guy DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, who took a long time to recover from that injury, but looks.
I didn't know where he was.
But he looks like he's back.
He got a touchdown.
He went and got a touchdown. You got Christian Kirk, who's fast than a motherfucker. Like you gave homie weapons. So like. I think seeing that, Kyler's going to do exactly what he needs to do, and he has like good people on the defensive side of the ball to help him out too. I think that he's really going off, and I think we go back to the Vikings in this game. Kirk Cousins, again, he's kind of a mid quarterback at best, and you have a good team around him, but that's not going to get you over the hump against these teams that are ready to ball out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dalvin Cook ran for 131 yards on 22 carries. So, I mean, like, if I'm Dalvin Cook, am I looking at this Vikings situation be like, you got to get me the fuck out of here or get me another quarterback? What do you think, Ben?
I think it's kind of the same Stafford Goff situation. I think he's a bit better than Goff, but they are a quarterback away from being. And the NFC North is wide open. It is wide open for the taking every single year. Yep. Justin Fields might be a baller in a few years, but it seems like they really want to let him hold a clipboard and learn from Dalton. And like come in for some goal line plays, some scat back, what is that called? Wildcat plays. Which I kind of support. Throwing a rookie quarterback in there's always a risk. You never know if they're going to sink or swim. But I compare I have the basketball player's name that I'm comparing to. What's this kid's name again? The Cardinals quarterback?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. I compare him to Trey from at the Trey Young. People are like, he should have played baseball. He's small, he's fast, he's quick, and he plays the same way Trey Young plays, with just unbridled confidence. Like he knows he belongs in this league. He will put up that 40-foot jumper. He'll launch it down the field, and like you said, he bounces back from mistakes like nothing ever happened. And you need that. Sometimes it's gonna work. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you got, you should have ran and maybe slid out of bounds. You should have thrown it away rather than make that tight window. But you were going to live with that because he will always go for the win. He will never play it safe.
Do you watch or have you watched Kuroko's basketball? So it's a basketball anime, and there's literally the final big bad is this tiny dude, but he's got this ability to just predict everything. So not only does he have insane crossovers, it's very funny watching anime try and describe basketball things. Be like, it's his ankle breaker technique. It's like okay, bitch, whatever. But that reminds me a little bit of Kyler, where he's a fucking assassin, bro. He just sits back. He's like, you want to see something, bitch? Boo! In your eye, So
he threw a 77-yarder almost every game. He is good for one insane highlight throw, and he's only getting better. That's the crazy part. He's only getting better year by year. With Lamar, same thing. Lamar, every year there's a lot of questions, but every year he does something new to kind of get better. And we're seeing this with Kyler Murray as well. If they put the full playbook in motion, fucking hell, man, this could be a scary effing team for sure.
Yeah, people were wondering, they got Josh Rosen the year before, and no, we're gonna get Kyler. We're gonna spend our first round again. I don't know, this could, but that quarterback coach duo so important, and it seems to be really, really working.
I'll tell you this. My favorite part is the fact that the birds in Philly had to were brought back down to earth. You know what I'm saying? Because you played Atlanta the first game, dog. Your victory isn't that special. And then not that the Niners are good, they're not. Right. But the Niners are good enough that they can make some serious noise. But you said, they lost how many running backs? They're kind of and you got humbled like a motherfucker. So
and Baltimore already took whatever running backs are left and put them on their practice squad. So, you're in some trouble if you're the 49ers trying to find a running back. They've got Devontae Freeman and Latavius Murray on that fucking team. Norvell Ross gave us a super sticker. Thank you, Norvell. Appreciate it. Wiley Todd says, "So Wiley, good to see you." He said, "My dude Herbert had a rough week. #Chargers." Well, he threw 300 yards. He's coming along. That kid is going to win a Super Bowl before his career is over. I guarantee you, whether with LA or someplace else. There's no way Justin Herbert doesn't win.
I don't think Wiley wants to hear with someplace else. I think he wants that to happen with the Chargers.
But I feel like we're a little spoiled with rookie quarterbacks. It used to be they rode the bench for 2-3 years, then got in, then you give them time. Now it's if you're not Patrick Mahomes, going straight there, you're a bust. It's no, same with Kyler Murray. It's he's second year. Yeah. Right? Exactly. Second year? Yeah. Second year. So second year. So he's made a big jump, and I think he still will.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. All right, let's move on to the last game in this block, and that's my game, the Washington football team defeating the Giants. I get to indulge every once in a while with my own personal stuff here. Dustin Hopkins made a 43-yard field goal on an untimed down after one of the Giants stepped into the neutral infraction zone and got himself flagged, and he hit the 43-yarder to win the game here. But the story is Taylor Heineke, 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw an interception, and I loved he threw an interception at the end of the game when it looked like the Washington football team had this thing wrapped up, and he was pissed. I loved that reaction. Took his helmet, slammed it on the ground, kept muttering, give me the ball back, give me the ball back, give me the ball back. Great spirit and moxie this kid has. That touchdown pass to Ricky Seals-Jones at the end of right at the corner of the end zone.
What a dime.
I mean, I'm telling you, and the throw to McKissick, which was on that was a Madden play where your running back does the wheel route and you hit him in stride. It was incredible what he was able to do. Do you guys think this guy might be for real, or are we looking at a possible flash in the pan once other defensive coordinators get more tape on this kid? What do you take away from this game?
We could have a Lynn sanity here, but hey, all respect to Jeremy Lin. He's still an NBA player. He'd whoop y'all ass one-on-one. Stop challenging professional athletes to one-on-one. Brian Scalabrine will beat you 21-0. Believe it.
Yeah, but Lynn might be the only one that I think not me, but some of the people I know could maybe because his health. That's there's a reason why he's not even in the G League anymore, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's, you know what I mean? Like
I'm saying like a healthy Jeremy Lin.
Mitigating Jeremy Lin at peak, you're exactly right. Ain't nobody that we know touching him. But
no. But just like it could be a Linsanity, but you know what? I'm willing to wait week to week. Like it's almost I don't want anyone else to get injured, but it's almost I was surprised when they were going to go with Fitzpatrick because
me too.
Even the last game last season, he showed something and the fans were behind it. And you know what? As much as I don't like Washington, like I'm rooting for this kid because that throw to go ahead, that was such like I'm bailing out. Whoa! Like that was a rope.
Yep.
And it was a hell of a catch too.
Yes.
But the corner of the end zone, right above the defender, that was a dime and a half right there. So I thought it was a great game, and you guys won on a lucky penalty, but he put you in that position. He put you in that 50-yard field goal position, especially after a possibly game-ending thing, and I feel like the Giants played it too safe. I feel like they need to have that kind of confidence that Washington has. You got to put up or shut up with Daniel Jones. You're either going to let him be your franchise quarterback, or you're going to have him be a holdover for whoever comes up from college because you should have gone for the throat right there. You can't play to not lose. You got to play to win. And Saquon, they don't have the line that Saquon needs to be the running back he can be. Right. That boy has fucking speed skater thighs. I don't like there's something wrong with the offensive line if he is not getting outside because that guy is a tank. He's a freak. But they need offensive line help, and they need to let Daniel Jones be a quarterback because you don't have the defense to let him be Trent Dilfer or a game manager. You don't have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Winston, I mean, he threw for 249 yards. Daniel Jones did. He ran for 95 yards. And a touchdown. He did have one touchdown callback because of a holding penalty, and they ended up just kicking a field goal on that.
Bro, they were calling him White Vic.
Yeah,
they were calling him
that sneaky speed. He's like doing this, and then he's like beating corner. I was like, wait. How's no one tackled him yet? He's jogging, but he's outrunning eververybody.
It was insane. I was so frustrated, man. Jesus.
They called him Vanilla Vic, bro.
Or because they kept running the same play, and I remember even watching Daniel Jones to the outside again. I was like, how are you not doing this?
I was like, how is this happening in the second half? How the fuck have you not picked this up yet? It was driving me nuts. But that being said, this is the second week in a row with this supposedly vaunted Washington defense is getting exposed by two middling quarterbacks. Justin Herbert is still building. Daniel Jones has never blown anyone's brain in any way, shape, or form as a player. And yet they're able to carve up this. I mean, I'm so afraid for what Dak Prescott is going to do to our secondary. It scares the shit out of me to think about it because right now we look like Swiss cheese in that secondary, and we barely won that game.
Case Young needs to start doing a bit more. You want to give him all the praise and everything like that. He made a few plays that day, but they need to start pressuring some quarterbacks because that secondary is not looking tough right now.
I mean, look, dude, that's the thing. Your defense is Chase Young.
Yes,
you've made that very clear. He earned his defensive rookie of the year.
Right.
But your defense is Chase Young. And if that's what you got going on, you better hope Heineke can throw for 336 and 2 touchdowns a game and hopefully shave off that interception. Otherwise, y'all fucked, bro.
I know, bro.
Yeah.
I know. I'm looking at it. It's nervous. I'm so nervous because it's great to get the victory. We got Buffalo next. Josh Allen. I don't know what Josh Allen's going to do to us in Buffalo, but it scares the shit out of me.
He's bigger than Chase Young.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's a huge motherfucker too.
Yeah.
Like he's so big. Like there's
Dude.
a clip of like Joey Bosa, or maybe I can't remember if it's Joey or Nick Bosa, where like he kind of like has to slam him back, and like the linemen are like getting mad. It's like, what do you want me to do? He's bigger than me. Like he's fucking huge.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Daniel Savoy says Vic was running because he's fast. Jones is running out of fear. Yeah, that's fair. That's
Hey,
I mean,
that fear gets you some touchdowns. So whatever.
Look, if you take someone that's not like big enough or bad enough to be in the clan, but they scared of black folk, you put them out there. Oh shit! Oh shit! Like, I'm not saying that that's who Daniel Jones is, but I just all of a sudden, when you
Hey,
said
at least
out
he's
of
not
fear,
stumbling over his own feet this year. That was one of the best clips from last year. He's like
That was-
wide open. He's like, oh.
I was waiting for it the whole game because he had a lot of wide open runs. I was waiting for it the whole game. And then when McKissick did it, I was like, son of a. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Like I said, we travel up to Buffalo. We'll see how that game goes. I think if we win that one, then we've got ourselves a whole nother conversation to have about this football team, especially if Heineke is a big reason why. Let's move on to the best of wrestlers. We're running out of time here. Matthew Stafford, as we said, led the Rams past the Colts 27-24 with 278 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carson Wentz went out with injury. That could be an issue for the Colts because they do not have a good backup. David Carr and the Raiders beat the Steelers 26-17. David Carr, who 382 yards, 2 touchdowns. This guy is trying to turn around the narrative about his career single-handedly in this year with these Raiders. Josh Allen and the Bills, we mentioned, they crushed the Dolphins 35-0. And Tua was knocked from the game early. Jacoby Brissett ain't going to win you many games, man. And ask the Colts about Jacoby Brissett. Baker Mayfield and the Browns bounced back to beat the Texans here, 31-21. Baker threw for only 213 yards a touchdown, but Nick Chubb ran for 95. Also, Tyrod Taylor was hurt in that game. He will not play Thursday night. They announced it today. David Mills, the rookie, will start on Thursday night for the Texans. Mac Jones got his first win as a Patriot, 25-6 over the hapless Jets. 4 interceptions for that Wilson kid, and the Jets were booing him out of the stadium. Speaking of Jets, Sam Darnold led the Carolina Panthers to a victory over these Saints. The old Jameis Winston showed up with interceptions galore, and Darnold threw for 305 yards and 2 touchdowns. And all of a sudden, you're asking questions about the Saints when you were lauding them all last week. The Broncos with Teddy Bridgewater. Here's another surprise. Teddy, they defeat Trevor Lawrence and the Jags 2013. Teddy Bridgewater, 328 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cortland Sutton had 158 yards. So look for him if he's on your waiver wire. Jimmy G and the 49ers beat these hapless Eagles 17-11. I do not believe in Jalen Hurts at all. And the Bears got their first victory of the season here over the Bengals, 20-17. Dalton exited the second half with a knee injury. It looks like we have entered the Justin Fields era. He only threw for 60 yards, but led the team, and they got the victory. So what stands out for you guys from the best of the rest of the games here? Which one is the one you like most to talk about?
Carolina and New Orleans. How the fuck did the Saints fall off so hard? Like, holy shit.
I was at the front of the Jameis Winston parade because he's just like the most like.
I
have you
picked
seen
him
that
up
clip?
as my backup.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He just like, what was that? He's like, our coach always says, "Be prepared." Oh, what did he say? I don't know. He just tells us be prepared. Go look that clip up. I love my boy Jameis. I'm always rooting for him. Like, eat a W. Eat a W. he's just living life.
Who's trying to eat this? It's a W. Trying to eat that.
But the Browns are in serious trouble because Jarvis Landry is placed on injured reserve.
Yeah.
So he's out, and I don't know what's going on with OBJ because with Chubb and those 2 receivers with Baker, that's a dynamic offense. But I don't like Chubb. It's hard for a running back to lead a team nowadays. I think Nick Chubb is the goods. He's the real deal. Mm-hmm. But they need help in that receiving core with their 2 main guys down because those are 2 dangerous receivers. Yeah. But if they're not on the field, it doesn't really matter. I feel bad for anybody that plays for the Jets. I just feel bad for them, man. Like they cannot get up off the ground. And they're just going to keep going through these quarterbacks and, releasing them. And like Sam Darnold, I'm sure is going to be a fine quarterback. He might not be Hall of Fame, but he deserves a bigger chance than what he got with the Jets.
Yep. You gave him a better team.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey's back healthy. And this Carolina team now looks scary, dangerous. They got a good defense. Yeah. Someone pointed out that they forced Jameis into those picks. First of all, you don't need to force Jameis into picks. He just throws in naturally. But I will give your Panthers some credit for sure. They did look good, but Jameis throws them like he's throwing out candy. But
Teddy to the kids, Jameis love the kids.
Bridgewater's not a surprise. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, I mean, remember, he was undefeated when he stood in for Breeze for 5 games for the Saints. Last year in Carolina, he just lost Christian McCaffrey. That's a huge weapon to lose off your team, and they can key on you and focus on you more as a quarterback. Now with Denver, that has a really strong lineup here on the offense and on the defensive side of things, we could be seeing a surprising Broncos team sneak into a wild card here and get into these playoffs. Teddy's a winner. Teddy is a winner, so I agree. It's not a surprise. I'm just more of I feel happy for Teddy because he's been snake bit in so many places. I bet New Orleans is looking at Denver right now going, oh man, we should have kept Teddy, and instead of Jameis. That's the thing you have to look at here. So
what did they keep? They kept his name Tavon or whatever, or Taysom Hill.
Anything stood out for you, Ben? Winston chose Carolina. Is any of these games, which one stands out for you?
It's the Browns. Like, it's a good win, but their future is in question. I'm really excited for what the Niners do next because are they for real? Is everybody in the NFC West seems to be a contender. Seattle, lost in the last second, but Titans had to have the game of their lives. So the NFC West is looking strong. John, the Bills is such a question mark.
It is, isn't it?
Are they gonna climb over that hump? Because Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, they've got the tools, they've got everything in line. Mm-hmm. Can they finally be the team all of Buffalo wants them to be? All of them, everybody wants to see people slammed on tables for the Super Bowl. I want to see that. The Bills Mafia is ridiculous. I want to see them go deep in the playoffs, but can they be the team everyone thinks they are? And Derek Carr, representing Fresno State, that just beat UCLA number 13 in college football, had it was a great game. Yeah. So I'm not a Raiders guy, but I never want to see someone just get ragged on like that. So I'm glad he's playing well, especially after losing his big weapon in Amari Cooper. It was a big trade, and they haven't filled that hole, but it seems like they finally are. And Matt Stafford, Rams Bucs is going to be a great game. That is going to be a great game in LA, and I'm super excited to watch it.
I bet Stafford's excited to play in a game that matters. Yes. In such a long time he hasn't, and this could really matter. And if he beats
the last one was against Romo in the playoffs. I feel like that was his last one.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Alex Tornai says, if the Bears start Justin Fields next weekend against the Browns, it's over for Dalton as a QB1, despite Nagy saying Dalton will start if healthy. Yeah, I agree with that.
And Tyrod Taylor's also an IR. I just saw Adam Schefter, so he's done. So
yeah. So he's an IR.
Yeah,
so
he's for the first 8 weeks at the very least.
Rocha, shit. Yep. Oh my God. Webcamschat.com, hot girls and boys video chat.
Oh, get it.
But yeah, just Matt Ryan, if you can get out of Atlanta and get to Texans, I think that would be a great fit. I think that would be a good fit.
One last thing. I know we got to wrap up here. One last thing. Ask you guys. Ben Simmons. Looks like Ben Simmons is not coming back to these 76ers. NBA, little quick one. He will apparently not report for the opening of training camp next week and intends to never play another game for the franchise, is what sources are telling ESPN. He wants to trade out of Philadelphia and told management that he has no plans to wear an NBA uniform again until he's moved to a new team. Daryl Morey and the coach over there with Philadelphia have been trying desperately, that's Doc Rivers, to trade him, but no one seems to be giving him back the kind of money or the kind of package they want for Ben Simmons. Remember,
they buried him.
Yeah, Simmons has 4 years and $147 million left on his max contract, including $33 million for the upcoming season. So he knows he's fucking with the Sixers by sitting out financially. Yeah,
bro.
Who's gonna take that contract?
This is the same dude that Kobe Bryant told your ass, fam, if you learn to shoot, you could be as good, if not better than me. And he's like, Nah, fam, I'm good. And now look at your ass, like, bro. Oh my god. I still die at that one video by RDC World where they were talking about like that one guy that passes too much and you go for a layup and you dish it out the last second. That's just...
That was the worst. That video is great. That video of those guys doing it. Yeah. Why are you throwing me the ball?
I go, what the hell, man? I wasn't open. I was covered. You had it. It's like, nah, man. Y'all
gotta hit that three. You gotta hit that layup.
So perfect.
But just like it that highlight of him not dunking for the go ahead is one thing, but just like to have your fellow co-star Joel Embiid just bury you, and then the most pathetic thing of him being like, "Oh, I'd love to play with Ben Simmons." That's the Sixers PR being like, "Please say something good so we can get some value out of him," because every team's like, "No, he's a good player, and we could work with him, but we're not giving up 4 first-round picks for him. Like, you don't want him so bad, and he doesn't want to be there. Like, we're just gonna wait, and we're gonna vulture pick this thing when it's dead and gone. Like, and that's what they're doing, and it's ruthless. But what do you expect?
I know. I mean, he hasn't smelled an NBA Finals. You're gonna tell me you're gonna want 4 first-round picks for this guy? Are you fucking insane? That's just ridiculous. They're going to have to take their losses here, swallow their pride, get whatever they can. I mean, Minnesota's interested in him. There's a package that can be worked out. You just got to take your pride, swallow it, pay the money, get out of the situation, because that's going to be worth more in the long run. If you get the right player back and your team becomes a winning team, you'll make up that money in revenue and sponsorships and jersey sales. You'll make up that money, but you got to get Simmons out of there, man. He's not coming back. He doesn't want to be back, so why belabor this point? Doesn't make any sense.
And Philly fans are so unforgiving. Like, they're not going to be no, come on. Like, they want him out of there too.
Yeah, it's just so did Doc Rivers in the postgame. So yeah. When you coach and your other star player turns on you, get the fuck out of there, dude. All right, that's it from us. Thank you all so much for watching this live episode of Game Time. Much love and respect to all of you for joining us. Thanks for all the Streamlabs and Super Chats, but most of all, thanks for a lively chat and the over 100 of you who've been watching us live for a majority of this. Appreciate it. This could be the new time if this is something that we can get over 100 people watching, and we'll get to cover the Monday Night Football game. Could be a lot of fun. So give us a like if you haven't yet. Thanks to Winston A. Marshall, Ben Goddard. Winston, where can people find you and everything you got going on, my man?
Absolutely. You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred. It's right here next to me. That's all the socials. I'll be on Citizen tomorrow from 11 to 7 Pacific time. So if you're concerned about who is setting fires in your neighborhood, I probably have some sort of inkling about what's going on with that. Blurs in the Hood tonight, 6 p.m. We are now a primetime show, so 6 p.m. tonight and Thursday. We got a lot to talk about, and we're doing a COVID-free week. We're tired of all the COVID news, even though there's something every fucking day.
Truth.
So we'll still have some bullshit to talk about that we might have to cuss out, white supremacy about. But like for the most part, we're just gonna be cracking jokes and acting ignorant. So if you want to come hang with us for 2 days this week with no talk about COVID whatsoever, come roll through. And that's pretty much it right now.
Okay. All right. Well, there was a fire at the New Orleans Superdome, so I'm gonna need you to check that out and find out what happened. Oh no, another bot's here. Okay, let me block that user. Ben Goddard, thanks so much again for taking the time. I know you had a busy day, brother. It's always great to have you on the show. Where can they find you and the Twitch empire that you are building, my man?
Twitch.tv/the Ben Goddard. Going to be streaming tonight at 5:30. Come on by, y'all. Everywhere at the Ben Goddard. Appreciate it. It's always fun talking football and like bullshit with you guys. So always glad to be on.
How long are you on tonight?
Till like 9:30.
Nice.
All right, cool. We'll raid you when we're done.
Nice, dude.
Nice. There you go.
Gotcha.
Appreciate it.
I got to get back on there.
People were liking your soccer watch-alongs, man. Those were great.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, I just kind of got,
it's
with everything
tough.
else coming back,
yeah,
just balancing the time. But I'm going to do it because I want to do watch-alongs, I want to do play-alongs. And the new games coming out. They announced all those new PS5 games. Definitely going to gobble some of those up and play.
John, you got to reach out because you've got the audience for it, especially with this, because like bigger streamers, they'll allow people to stream like the Thursday night football games and stuff like that. If you partner up. Yeah. So you got to reach out to do that awesome. For sure.
Thank you very much. I'll reach out to you. Maybe you can guide me on that. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ben. For those of you who usually watch Outlaw Nation show tonight, we are pushing it to Thursday. I got to get in the car and drive to LA in a couple hours, so I won't be able to do the show live since this one pushed to a little bit later, but we'll do it Thursday night. I do have a big announcement about my future in the Schmodown and other stuff going on in my world as well. So Thursday night, I think 7 o'clock is when we're going to do it, so look out for that notice as well. All right, take care of yourselves. Be well. Much love to all of you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new live episode here of Game Time. Much love.